I am the seventh child of 7 children, big rambling family. Great position to be in, number 7, learning so much from all the big kids. And this is really where my first panel of wise women began, was in my own living room. And I'm telling you, I was privy to the chats. They'd talk about pregnancy and birth and miscarriages and boobs and bras and menstrual cycles and hair removal, you name it. I got a lot of information. And you know, one thing was omitted though, I will say, they did not talk about the orgasm. No one ever brought that up, so I missed that little piece. And you know, both my parents, they're not really sex detail people. They were never into giving all the details. Now my father, I never heard my father say the word vagina ever. He had a code word. It was popo. Sending you up for the bath, he'd say, now don't forget to clean your popo. You know, I thought that was standard English. I thought all families used popo. So I head off to first grade, throwing out some dirty jokes. The punchline's popo. No one laughs. And I say, what? You guys don't even know what a popo is? They all say, no. So I explain. I learned that other families don't use the word popo. He always talked to us about scoundrels. There's scoundrels out there. Beware of the scoundrels. They'll come up to you, they'll park their cars in alleys and do things. And he'd say, you know, sometimes you think you're seeing a businessman in a long trench coat. Be careful. He may open his coat and show his, now this gesture, doesn't even get a word. This is penis. As far away as he could get. How about that? And we knew exactly what he was talking about. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, as a kid and a teenager, I'm telling you, I was so small. I developed so late. I was the shortest person in my class, the most undeveloped. When I say undeveloped, I am talking about I had nothing going on. Nothing going on. I was like the eunuch for years. Here's the thing. I also grew up as, we were Catholic. I guess we are Catholic, but I was Catholic. And I think somewhere in those Catholic beginnings, I got the idea that you just don't touch your vagina. I had no relationship with my vagina whatsoever. None. Or maybe the older brothers and sisters said, don't touch that. Don't touch. But I got that message that I don't touch. I mean, my vagina was for going to the bathroom, wipe it, and move right on. That's it. You know, so I had no relationship, but I will say this. In gym class in 4th grade, climbing the ropes gave me a little... You remember that, I see. Yeah. Like that rope climbing. Gave you the... Woo, little bit of razzle-dazzle, not sure what it's about. You know, there would be like a circuit in the gym class, and we'd all be going around the circles, and the girls would be like, hey, no real exchange about what's going on. Should we head back to the ropes? We were strong. I am telling you, I look so much like a boy. I was kicked out of women's bathrooms all the time. Custodians, coaches, people, what are you doing in here? Get out. But I could fly in any man's bathroom anywhere, and no one would blink. I would just fire right into the stall, pop a squat, move on out. No one would question that. And I loved the freedom, like skulking around. I called it my dual citizenship. I mean, I ripped around like I was part male, part female. Loved it. Freedom, moving under the radar in the demilitarized zone. It's great, so much freedom. People said, you gotta take that baseball cap on. That baseball cap was a symbol of my independence. Like, don't tell me what I need to be, don't tell me what I need to look like. This is me. And I had the good fortune, you know, in my family, you know, you're the 7th kid, they really let you do what you want. Still, I'm getting a little action in the vagina, but I'm not having orgasms. I'm getting a little, I'm like, but still not getting there. my assumption was, listen, I am late in the game. These fellas have been at it for 5 years. They know I have one vagina. They've seen many. They know what's going on, so I'm waiting for the fellas to find the doorbell. But no, and so now the female friends with experience get involved. She's like, come on, Cindy, let's go. Gotta get masturbating, gotta get on it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so gross, Susie. I will not masturbate. So she's another idea. Okay, if you don't want to touch your vagina, how about this? Little hands-off method? Get the tub going on a slow drip. Saddle yourself under there. Let it drip right on the top of your vagina for a long time. So I rally. I get in there, saddle myself in, drip, drip, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's more like that rope razzle, you know, you're like, yeah, oh yeah. But of course, I'm a little attentionally challenged. So I couldn't hang in there, didn't have the patience. Off I went. So then in college, of course, now that is like the sort of where all scoundrels gather. I'm on the virginity mission. No one's getting in here. And I'm very clear. And now, the key to that, I think, is that I also never did drugs or drank alcohol. You know, when you don't drink or do drugs in college, it brings up your chances of staying a virgin about 100%. Yeah. On my soccer team, I had a woman named Vicky, a friend named Vicky. She, very experienced, always saying, Cindy, you gotta get on the sex train. She was enthusiastic about all that. She got tired of soccer and she joined the bike team. She pulls me aside. She says, Cindy, you have got to join the bike team. And you know what the real bonus is? She says, something about the way my seat is, I'm kicking out 3 or 4 orgasms every ride. So, you know, I go out to visit my sister Winston out in Telluride, Colorado. Some of you may know Winston. She is 6 feet tall. She was a dancer. She's very expressive, open and comfortable. She's a different ball of wax. Just anything I ever asked Winston, she told me all of it. So I'm out there visiting her. I say, Winston, tell me about an orgasm. Well, she goes on this very detailed description with all this build-up and then this explosive volcanic eruption with feet shaking and all this business. I'm like, am I adopted? What happened here? I take myself to the downstairs floor, the cellar of the Diamond Library at UNH, and my mind keeps drifting off to sex. I'm like, whoa, you know, I just can't stay focused. So I just back to the books. And so I'm like, oh, better take a bathroom break. So off I go, spastic gal. Head into the bathroom, you know, sit down, pee, go to take a wipe, come upon my clitoris. I run smack dab into that bad boy, bad girl. I mean, it's just something about all that sex thought presented itself. I come upon it, I'm like, bring it around front. Woo! Give myself a jing jangle, spring sprangle. Woo! This new mission is spreading the word, okay? This is like, gals, you on it? You're not on it? Get on it, okay? You on it? You are? Good. Now spread the word. Be clear. Be specific. Get on it. Fellas, got something to share with you. Here's where it is. Like coaching all the dual citizen boys, they gather in, I give them the word. This is what I know from my own experience. You know, tell them all. They're grateful. Taking it in. So, you know, this elusive clitoris, this mysterious little gear, it just requires some communication because different things are going on for each woman. And each night, each orgasm, every little thing is different. And to complicate matters, sometimes those orgasms are coming from one area or another or one zone. It's just a mystery. I mean, the fellas who are up against that, I mean, they need a little GPS to guide in. And if they don't have GPS, they need us to tell them You know? I mean, if you got time on your hands, you can let them rummage. Hours, you can let them rummage. How about a little guidance? Get in the zone. I'm a working mother with 3 kids. I don't have hours. You know, I also have this other idea of like a little assistant could pop out of the vagina and sort of help out. You know, miniature version of yourself, almost like a flight attendant, okay? In preparation for departure. Would just like to let you know that the zone of pleasure around the clitoris is located more at the 1 o'clock position rather than the 7 o'clock position you experienced on your last flight. Portable telephones are not permitted for use in flight. However, you may use certain other electronic devices when advised by your crew. Please take note of your emergency exits. Keeping in mind that sometimes the best way to get to where you're going is from behind. Also keep in mind that less vigorous, more consistent stroking with a focus on the front wall of the vagina will maximize arousal this evening on this flight. If needed, oxygen mask will not drop out of the overhead. You're gonna need to roll yourself over and take some very deep yoga breaths and get yourself back together. Smoking is not permitted in any area on this aircraft. Please remember to be consistent and patient. And on behalf of your captain and crew, it is a pleasure to have you on board. But you know, the language, vagina, not my first choice, this vagina word, vagina. Very, very few positive or even neutral words for vagina, just none. I'm down to 3 great ones. And the first one comes from my friend Andrea, and in her family, instead of popo, you know what the word was? Cougar. Love that. Love that. Cougar. I mean, I love how it's got like speed and agility. A little snarl. The next word that's come to me came from my niece Molly. Off she goes to the gynecologist for her appointment. She comes back and the fellas say, "So Molly, how's the V-piece?" That's got a little swagger going. I mean, it's like a cross between a weapon and an accessory. V-piece. The third one came from my friend Sue, who had gone to visit her midwife cousin, comes back from the family reunion and says, "Listen to this, Cindy, you're gonna love this word, yoni." I'm like, I like yoni. I've never heard it. Ancient word, ancient Sanskrit word for sacred temple. And I love how it just rolls off the tongue. Doesn't threaten anybody who's not toting a yoni. It's just a nice yoni. Yoni. Like that. So we've got the glue, the epoxy, we're working it, sealing it up, covered in glue, ready to get cleaned up. So he's like, "No one's here, just come in the men's coach's bathroom. No problem, you'll just come in there and wash your hands." Starts to tell me a story. He's a great storyteller, so I'm gripped. And of course I've got that attentional situation, so I can't really do 2 things at once. Gets me in trouble. So in we go into the bathroom. And as I'm totally absorbed and I'm looking, I see 2 toilets, 2 sinks. He goes to the first sink and he's washing his hands. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get in that other sink. Okay. So I pick up the soap, I go to turn on the water, but there's really no faucet for the water to come out. So I move over next to Bertie in at his sink, right? And I'm holding my little soap there, waiting in line. He stops dead. "Pierce," he says. "Pierce, where did you get that soap?" So now I look down, my gritty little blue disc in my hand. He's got a perky, nice little white piece, right? His piece is white. I've got a blue disc. I look and I realize I am a woman in a man's world so hugely right now. I take the disc. And I rip that little ivory soap out of his hand. And I scrub in, and he just takes it. Oh, Pierce, do you know who's pissed on that soap? Coach Bose is pissed on that soap. Coach Garber's pissed on that soap. Coach Urquhart. He goes through the list, and he takes the whole football staff, goes right through them, all of them, lists them to me. I'm like, I know, I gotta. And then he says, do you know what you have done? You have taken 10 giant steps backwards for that woman's movement. I mean, nothing gets you more in touch with your body than birth control. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's pretty hardcore. So, and there's the options are like the above the belt option, and then you have the below the belt option. You've got the diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm, probably the most down and dirty of all of them. You're smooching it up, you're getting sort of steamy, and in the middle of that, you say, hold on, I gotta put in my diaphragm. Okay, then you gotta get it in. Okay, here's the thing about getting it in. You need like an hour of yoga. You need to like stretch out, get really comfortable to get that thing in. It's a gymnastics routine. You gotta get down there, cramming it in. Now, just as it's about to go in, it's filled with all that goopy gel. Bling! Blow the dog hair off. Back at it. Now it starts to go in. And it is like reefing on the walls of your vagina as it's going in, like reefing. And then you get it in place. But that's not all, because you have to make sure it's in place. Got to go back in. Meanwhile, Bruce is over there maintaining an erection by the skin of his teeth. One time she sends us a box of female condoms for us to try. They've just come out on the market. She said, ask to them, give them a try. See what you think. So Bruce and I, we're game. We'll try it out, you know. So they get out the box, and we open up the box, and we pull out the condom, open it up. Now, open up this condom. Massive. This thing is massive. Looks like a windsock at LaGuardia Airport. I mean, it could help land 747s, this thing. Except it has an outer ring and a floating inner ring. Now, the floating inner ring is supposed to act like a diaphragm. So, now I'm looking at this thing like, where's it gonna fit? But then I want to be optimistic, so I start thinking, well, the vagina has lots of, folds and little side streets and cul-de-sacs and little areas. Maybe all that material will like sneak in there and it'll be snug as a bug, just it'll fit perfectly. Optimism, yeah. So I take that big ring, and I'm familiar with the cram fest, so I go for the cram, get it up in place. And I stand up, hanging out. Halfway to my knees, this thing's hanging out like the Liberty Bell. Gong, gong, gong. Okay, now, I'm all ready. Saddle up with the big guy. So I start my steamy walk over to the bed, and I hear thwap, thwap, thwap. How about it? Okay, stay focused. And now I say, okay, this is not going to be a sexual encounter. This is a science experiment. In this case, you've got a slight lubricated giant condom with a little bottle of lubrication that comes with it for a little squirt, squirt. We're going. Quickly runs out, so he's back to the squirt tube. Squirt, squirt, squirt. Give it a go. Now it's almost squeaky. Get it again. Now he says, I'm just going to hold it in my hand here. I'm laughing. I'm like, Bruce, I feel like the Tin Man with you, though. Bruce says, stay focused, stay focused. So we give it a go some more and come to some semblance of closure. Now it's time to get the rig out. grab onto the side of that thing. So being pregnant, I loved being pregnant. I loved it. Loved it. Comfy, energetic. Loved that feeling. But when my baby was overdue, that's when things got a little hairy. 3 days before Christmas, but let's go to West Leb and do some shopping. West Leb, 12A, yeah. Pretty much the hub of all Christmas commercial sickening madness, okay? This is like, you just don't do that. But we did, and we got trapped in the plaza parking lot, and we're trying to get out. We're going along, and can't get out, and Bruce, I have to pee, and I want to jump out and pee. I'm pregnant like this. I want to get out and pee, but I don't want to jump out. What if the traffic surges, okay? I'm just, whoo, I've got to go to the bathroom. And Bruce, you know, he's Mr. Cheery Christmas guy, you know? He's like letting people in front of us. So he's gone from Mr. Christmas to absolute irritation. And I'm like, good, that'll get us home. So as we're going along, we come up on Burger King, and there's this little sports car, a little red Talon with 2 teenagers in it. You know, big, tall boy man and the little shrimpy one over on the side. Bears, yeah. They're not even looking at us, they're just moving into traffic, okay? Fearless inchers, these people. They're just going for it. I am, Bruce has got the gap closed. He's like, no. But they don't slow, they keep going. Bold fellas. So now I put out my psychic vibe. I'm telling them, look this way, look this way. And they do. The driver looks over at me, and I say to him, mm-mm. And he looks at me, and he says, mm-hmm. I am now fuming. I say to Bruce, I'm getting out. Now, Bruce, no, Pinsy, no, Pinsy, no. Click, kaboom. Big old pregnant lady. Oh, yeah. Eyes are on me, shock, horror. Who's the big old pregnant lady? Okay, now, Mr. Big Stuff in the Talon. Oh, yeah. Now he's nervous. Little guy in the other seat's ready to climb out the window. Yeah, I'm exuding power as I cross that pavement. And I come over to the window. Tap, tap, tap. So I give it another one. Tap, tap, tap. Reluctantly. Down comes the window. And I lean in close and I say, now listen, we've been letting people in for a long time and I'm tired of it. I am 1.5 weeks overdue pregnant and I have to piss like a fucking racehorse. Back up in the stirrups, get the bed up, get the birthing bar. I love the birthing bar, like Mary Lou Retton. I'm ready for the dismount. Stick it. But the dismount's way off at this point. It goes on for 3.5 hours, this thing, okay? So in the middle of it, in the middle of the pushing, you know, there's a gloom settling over, and people are like, things are not going too well. So the nurse, should I bring the mirror over so you can see? You'll be inspired to see the baby's head. So she brings the mirror over. I'm in the stirrups with the bar there. I see my vagina. And I don't see my vagina. It has transformed into a huge gray udder. I'm shocked. And she says, there's the head right there. I'm like, where? Where's the opening? I can't even see the opening. That's not inspiring. And to top that off, below the big udder, I had myself a blossom of hemorrhoids that were pretty impressive. Big old grape-side hemorrhoids. You didn't really come here to hear about hemorrhoids, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. Got you pinned to your seats? I'm taking full advantage. People say, what is a hemorrhoid? It's a varicose vein on your asshole is what it is. I'm sort of thinking, what am I going to wear toting that udder? Am I going to skirts? Am I going to skirts? Or those hippie pants that hang low? I'm already plotting how to cope with the udder. And then some people say, oh, I would never want an episiotomy. I would never want my vagina cut. At that point, get out the chainsaw. Take it down. Everybody come on in. Let's escort this baby out. So finally, with a heave and a hoe, out comes this kid. Cut head. Out he comes. I grab a hold of him. Now all of a sudden you forget. Those 36 hours just disappear. You're so in love with this little precious one, and he looks a little, just not quite right, and they scoop him away. Rough ride coming through the udder. After you go home with your baby, then what happens is the breast milk comes in. Kaboom! Set of jugs brings out the scoundrels for sure. Look at them all staring at these. I'm pissed off. And they're sort of giving you a look like, like you got some porn star boobs, like that's the thing. And some of the good pals, my male pals who'd see me in the grocery store would be like, Cindy, nice jugs. I almost want to pull them right up, pull them out, show them. You think these are porn star boobs? Let me show you what they're really about. This is a big, lumpy, pasty white heave-ho with stretch marks all here because they launched off your chest so fast. Then we got some blue veins running down to a nipple. Nipples almost as big as my head. And some color that I've never seen on my body. I needed to just get out and just take a jog to get my head clear after babies. So my friend Jane, Jungle Jane, she says, Cindy, you got to get the Last Resort bra in Title IX magazine. It comes in the mail. Let's just get a visual here. Big, thick straps coming down like this. Big, thick band. Comes up to the back of your neck, covers your full back with crisscross stitches for extra support. Okay, they give you a sheeny white thing to sort of make you feel sexy. Big seam across here, and then to top it off, you've got 11 hooks. So picture getting it on. Packing the rack in there, getting those hooks. Jane's husband called it her bulletproof vest. You get that? Now the beauty of that thing, you go running, it's like you don't have breasts. You are free of your breasts. It is an escape. No chafe, no movement, none. No movement. I mean, you feel like you could jump out of a plane and survive in that thing. I am so cocky now. I'm like, check me out. Back to the A-cup feeling. So I'm coming up the driveway. Bruce is out with the kids. He's got little baby Coulter's got the two kids. He's playing. Hey! I've got the post-run sweat going. Coming up. And all of a sudden, Bruce is like, gets sort of a confused, almost grossed out look on his face. He says, not that you care, or you really should care, not that you should care, but I just want to let you know that the headlights are not lined up. I look down. I got southeast nipple and northwest. So I have my own theories, of course, about this difference between desire for sex between men and women. And I've come to the conclusion that the difference is in the quality of orgasm. That's what it boils down to. The intensity of a female orgasm. I mean, this is not new stuff. Men tell me all the time, like about that my wife's got it going on. I mean, let's start with the male orgasm. A little bit like a NASCAR race. Yeah. Same track. finished, get that car, back to the pit crew. Then you have the female orgasm. Okay, random as all get out. Never know what you're gonna get. Start in the valleys, head to the peaks, back to the valleys, but randomly up in the peaks and plateaus, peaks, extra peaks that weren't even on the horizon. Random. You know, and then sometimes you can't muster the fire, your head's not in the game, you got a to-do list going in your head, you're ready to wrap it up. But then, suddenly, out of nowhere, comes this multiplasmatic whopper of an unstoppable orgasm out of nowhere. You know, I'm going to do a little interpretive dance for you now. My first piece is called the male orgasm. My second piece is called the intense male orgasm. And my final piece is called the female orgasm.